Yeah, I was pushing for that for quite a bit because I was just like, I need a rant, and
Oh
my
my,
energy for it's almost gone. So
oh,
please bring me back.
I'll bring you back. What the fuck? Yo, everybody, welcome to Otaku Flavored Podcast. I am Savage Bear, and I'm here with Jay. Once again, we're just hanging out.
How's it going, guys?
Yo. Um, yeah, we're just gonna dive right into the topic of streaming on Twitch and how to make it big. All right, you guys, if you want the hottest
Not our
streamer
main
tips,
topic.
if you want the hottest streamer tips from two
Oh,
people
so
who are
we're actually converting it now.
who are
Okay.
trying to grow, yeah, right, yeah. I
I'm trying
told
to
you,
sabotage you here.
I told you
'Cause
we were
he's
gonna
trying to
talk
be
about
lazy,
video
guys.
games.
Don't believe him here. He had this whole other thing we were doing, and
Oh
then he
no,
wanted to be
I still
lazy
want
and
to do
like,
that.
hey, I don't want to edit stuff. Let's talk about it now.
Oh God, he is throwing me under the bus. All right, you're right. It's not wrong. It's totally not wrong. Basically, what prompted this was what? You don't have a schedule anymore?
No, I've found that a schedule is a bullshit. Just kidding. It's a lie, but it's not really. So it's something that I do understand that some people need, and it allows you to build a set time, a set schedule, and some people will come and do stuff. But I feel like it's a great tool when you're large enough for it to matter. And when you're large enough for it to matter, is probably going to be the point where you're pushing for partner. Not when you're doing something like low end affiliate. If you're in between 10 to 15 or something like that, like your averages and stuff like that, I don't think it's that big. Or even so, to quickly dodge over whatever the heck you wanted to introduce to this conversation, I actually want to say the reason why I've started approaching this is I'm started watching a content creator who streams to about 2,000 people on a bad day and about 8,000 on like more average on his days. Pretty big content creator. And he said, screw it with a schedule. Zero schedule. He may stream early in the morning. He may stream late at night. He may not stream at all. And he's destroying it. And he's decided that the reason why it works best for him is because he wants to come into his streams with a certain amount of energy and a certain amount of an idea of what he's doing. And he says that being like, oh no, I needed to start at 6 puts stress on him, and he freaks out and he doesn't want to do it anymore. And so by just being, oh hey, live now, it allows him to just come into it ready at any time, and nobody seems to care or bother about it. So it's one of those things where I was like, yeah, if I'm not feeling it, then why am I gonna stress about it? Or if I'm waiting for like that 8 o'clock to start or something like that, it does give anxiety, and I don't want to deal with that.
I agree. I think it's something that happens to a lot of content creators, especially for Twitch, because you have a schedule a lot of the time, where you're making this content for people to come and show up, and you feel like you have to be there. Like, okay, I set it for 6 for weekdays, and I need to be there at 6 p.m. for weekdays. And I know even for myself, I was hitting a point where, oh, like I need to go live at 6 p.m. on weekdays. If I missed it by even like 5 minutes, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should cancel stream. Maybe I should just let everyone know, like anyone who is going to be there waiting for me is no longer there, or whatever my reasoning was, because it doesn't make a lot of sense anyways. But I think the whole going in when you're ready, when you're feeling the, like, I don't know, just the energy, what you need to make content, is the best time to go in. I do think that the reason why you would want to have a schedule is if you're able to bring that energy like easily,
consistently.
Yeah, that's something like you already as a person can do, and as well as if you want,
you're not gonna miss the time.
Yeah, or if you're trying to make it like a TV show, because if you're trying to be like a TV show where everyone tunes in for Sunday morning cartoons at 4 or whatever, then yeah, like you need to have that consistency to grow your audience to be ready for you to go live at that time. But I'd argue it doesn't help you grow necessarily, kind of like what you were saying. No. Whereas if you're already established, maybe it makes sense to do, because then you're establishing your audience even more. Like you're taking those chunk of people that would normally watch you, and you're basically solidifying a chunk of them that can make it to every one of your streams. Because if you're
Right.
streaming at different times, you're going to get different people a lot of the time. And you can never expect the same person to be there every single stream. And then
Right. Which is a weird hurdle to get over as a new streamer. Which is something I want to touch on when you're done with what you're saying.
yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, yeah, you can touch on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So here's a really weird thing for like you're established, you've been here for a while. I'm a new streamer, and there was a long time that I was consistently streaming to people that I either somewhat knew or the people that latched on early and were consistent. And it felt like I was performing for the same people, and it felt like I was getting into like a bit that was made and tailored for some people. And so by splitting it up and moving things around, I lost the feeling like I needed to be there for them at that certain time, and I lost the guilt of feeling like I'm showing up at that exact time and like stealing that time away from them. Like I don't want people to feel like they're obligated to come to my stream or something like that.
Yeah.
I just want you to be there if you're going to be there and have fun. And if you're showing up every single day because you feel like it's like a requirement to hang out with me, that just feels unauthentic. And it felt like really weird to have like my friends habitually come back for that. So coming at it spontaneously, it broke that up. It broke up that feeling, that anxiety for that stuff. It just frees everything up, and it made it to where now I have a slew of people. Sure, there's still the regulars that will pop in, but it feels like, I don't know, it was like decanting it. It just brings air into it and brings it to where it flows a little bit more, and I do get a variety of people coming in more.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to breathe fresh viewership on your channel just through Twitch, because Twitch itself isn't like the easiest place to grow in. And I do feel like having a set schedule is one of the things that sets you in to kind of that life of the people who are seeing my stream or potentially would see my stream are only those people that ever come in during that time, basically.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole group of people out there who have no idea who you are that might tune in if you were to be live a couple hours later in your time, a couple hours earlier in your time. And those people might come in and become regulars where they shift their schedule to start joining and tuning into your stream. You never really know. But
yeah,
as far as growing your stream, I definitely think content comes first. And just having a schedule doesn't instantly mean that you're going to start growing as a streamer. I think the weird thing for me is whenever I hear like, here's some hot tips to like grow your stream or whatever it might be, that might work for whoever it was. That may never work for you. And it's something
I do not recommend what I'm doing for anybody. That's kind of
exactly. It's kind of one of those things where it works because it's working for you, basically. So if you were to then go say, hey, everybody shouldn't have a schedule. And then it's like, well, I already have people who come at set around time, basically, and it works for me. And that's good. I'm glad that works for you. I definitely think the biggest thing is content. Just making content, whatever it might be, and you having fun making content is the biggest thing. Like, if you can come at your content with high energy all the time, because that's the type of person you are, then yeah, maybe having a schedule will help. If you're like me, who kind of like has bursts of energy or gets anxious when there's like deadlines and things involved, maybe going live whenever and actually like playing whatever you feel like at the time isn't necessarily a bad idea. But I don't know. It's all, take everything with a grain of salt, basically. I guess what I'm trying to say is have fun streaming if you're going to stream. Like,
yeah, it's a weird thing. I also feel weird about it also because it's also a large source of my income already. Just, it's not because people are, I'm not a big streamer at all. I'm a tiny little streamer. But I'm taking on commissions a lot from people, and that's like a way that I advertise my stuff is through not really my stream, but it is.
Yeah.
It's networking with people.
No, exactly. I mean, I could see
Other
people.
streamers that want my stuff.
Yeah, I could see people joining your stream, seeing what you're drawing, someone else's emotes, be like, I really like those, and you being able to just do the whole sales pitchy thing, and then from there, maybe that person is now a new, like, someone who's going to commission your emotes from you.
That's already been. I mean, I'm definitely not making money from Twitch. I'll put it quite simple and that way.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I've not yet gotten my Twitch payout, but I have definitely made 10 times that amount through doing commissions already. So.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting though, like as far as where you are, because like you are an artist, so and you do commission work, therefore just streaming on Twitch potentially can make you more money in that like that sense, basically, for your own business.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, since I'm not an artist, I'm just here to bring you that hot, sweet, savage entertainment. It's weird because I definitely do feel like I've made money on Twitch, but I couldn't survive currently.
Yeah.
Like if all of a sudden everything fell through and I was just trying to survive on Twitch, I would have to grow quite a bit more to feel comfortable. I mean, especially where we are, but that's beside the point.
No, it's really weird too, because I find myself in a position right now where I do see a way that I can grow my stream and I can become get the numbers that people want, get people viewing my stuff, grow my stream, go that way. However, that's not towards art, which art makes me the money, and it's like fine where I'm at right now already, just being tiny, and then and the numbers, my view count doesn't matter, my follower count doesn't matter, as long as I stay with the art way. But I see a route where I can grow my followers and grow my streaming number, but it's in another direction that's away from art, so it's like counterintuitive to making money.
Yeah,
but I would then be bigger, and
I think it works both ways in your case, because if you basically are doing one to get more people to get more eyes on your thing, which are more potential clients coming in once they see you doing art, and then going art, maybe you're not bringing as many people, but you're getting more people to see what you're actually working on. I can see we're going both ways, basically, because it is true. Like the people who join and watch you for the thing that they joined to watch you for, they're usually going to only be there to watch you for that. Like, that's one for me. That was one of the reasons why I know I didn't grow, and I haven't grown as much as I possibly could have, because I do hop around all over the place. And I think like sticking to something, if you do want to grow, that is good advice. I do agree with that. Finding your niche, or finding like what people like from you and then sticking with that is a good call. But for me, I just didn't want to I just don't like the thought of being one thing, if that makes sense. Like
those Minecraft players that are still since launch still playing it.
Exactly.
Still doing that day in,
or like I screwed myself even more. I started out as a Skyrim streamer. That's like I was streaming only Skyrim every single time, and there's only so much you could do in that game. I like wish I had chosen Minecraft. Like, but yeah, it is one of those things where choosing where you want to be is a pretty good idea to like figure that out. You can figure that out by going and doing whatever you want for a while and seeing what works, but because that's kind of where I'm at. But
it's funny because the one thing that I do know that like I wish I could play and people would watch me for is something that I know nobody wants me to like play or do. So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, apparently this game is strictly for off time play.
That does happen. Yeah, that's. Weirdly enough, that's kind of like when I was playing World of Warcraft. That's how I felt. Like World of Warcraft was not bringing in nearly as much viewers as I hoped where I was, basically. But I loved it, and it was. I'm not a World of Warcraft streamer or anything like that, so it's not like I'm embedded in that community. But it's like I absolutely love this game, so what do I do? And yeah, slowly but surely just turned it into an off-stream game instead of on-stream, basically.
Yeah, which it's nice to have a game that you truly like that you can just play by yourself whenever, however you want.
Yeah, I agree.
At the same time, there's part of you like, man, but it'd be so easy if this was content and I could.
Weird because like, yeah, there's some stuff that like I mean, right now, currently Tarkov, I really, really enjoy playing Tarkov off stream. I kind of want to turn it into just stream content as well. But there's just something for me where I can go in, I don't have to worry about reading chat, I don't have to worry about entertaining everybody, and I can just hyper focus on this thing where I know if like people came in while I was doing that, it's like, oh, look at this kid, he's not even paying attention or to us or whatever it might be that chat wants. But I mean, who knows? Maybe people want to watch some kid just be like super hyper focused, but it just lets me kind of turn off that my streaming part of my brain, basically. Because at the end of the day, you're an entertainer once you hit that live button. Like,
Yeah, that's a very important thing to do. Which I think maybe the reason, because the game that I'm thinking of in my head is like, I always want to play Genshin. Like, I love Genshin. I play the crap out of it. I'm addicted to Genshin. And I have so much energy and so much passion for it. And it's funny because I don't, for everybody who's seen me stream, or for any of you who are not familiar with me, they only know me from here or hanging out with Bear on his stream or something like that. I'm a very calm and just talking person for most of my streams. Even when we're playing games, which is usually VR chat, it's me just talking, and so I'm just a talking person. That's what everybody apparently comes and hangs out with me for.
yeah.
And we're not high energy. We're not out there. We're not doing that like gamer thing. But you put me in Genshin, and even if like nobody's there in my chat, which happens if I play Genshin, nobody comes. I turn into that like stereotypical streamer dude with like the high end action, like trying to be like get chat to like gamble, and I look over like, oh no, there's nobody there. But it's just I have a level of energy for that game that I don't have for anything else.
You ever thought of making
like,
YouTube?
I want it.
You ever thought of making YouTube content for that?
I actually do. However, gameplay for Genshin isn't exactly something I think YouTube would.
Well, no, you would probably want to do like, here's 5 hidden chests that no one, like 3% people know about.
I don't even want to do that. Even that seems just not genuine to what I think. I have an idea for how I want to do it. I do want to do like crappy guides.
Well, I was gonna say that's the other thing, yeah, or just like build guides, or like this is the current meta for current characters, and yeah.
Well, so there's a lot of people who do similar things to that, but I would really like to take it to a meme level, if you would, kind of the the weird possibilities that exist in there. There's a lot of team comps and things that are really funny to do in the game that nobody that's trying to play meta or be serious about the game would really try.
Okay,
but
makes sense.
There's funny things out there to explore, and I would like to do stuff like that. I think it's an avenue that I would like to get into at some point. What's stopping me is the fear of trying to edit that together.
Oh yeah. I feel you on the whole editing. I mean, you could always look for an editor, but for me, I've actually found a lot of fun in editing. I've been doing a lot of editing streams for the people who've come by recently. That's kind of like what all my last streams, now I think about it, have been just me either sitting there editing. We had the streamception the other day where basically I was like, we had all finished hanging out watching anime, and it was like, all right, well, for the watch party for this, we all finished hanging out for the watch party for Otaku flavored. And then I was like, I'm gonna go live and edit a video. You guys should just, if you guys want to, like, I can just hang out here, and you guys can just all hang out here basically. And so we all just hung out together, and you started streaming my footage, and then and then what, Tiff started streaming your footage. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I was enjoying it, but then when I realized that I could move it over to VR chat and still be doing the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I was like going super meta with that one. And yeah, I doubled I actually tripled my view count by switching over to VR chat. It's funny how
people love you.
Yeah, just chatting's like meh, but as soon as you switch over to VR chat, it's like
I should do all my editing in VR chat.
There's something to like. I know that the VTuber thing is huge out there, and that's like a whole separate thing. But
I don't know.
It clicks. Like if you're an avatar and you're doing something, it clicks.
I definitely think it is in the same vein though, as far as VR chat and VTubers. Like they're kind of like two things of the same coin, because I do feel like people like seeing like a cute avatar or something that's not normally a person there, basically doing what normally a person would be doing there. So, because VTubers have blown up like hardcore. I know we have to do our ranking video at some point.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if that'll be like a
let's
podcast
do that
episode.
soon.
I don't know if that I don't know if we'll just dedicate a podcast episode or we'll just like make a stupid video.
Separate episode.
Yeah. I'm down to do a separate episode. Yeah. We need to do more stupid content on here, and I'm definitely getting in the point at editing where I'm feeling more comfortable. I'm actually getting more and more like just like sound effects and different clips, and I'm just accumulating things that I can then throw into videos and make them more entertaining and funny. Even though, like, I mean, you watch the cereal when I was making it's like cringe. It's definitely not like content that's like, oh dude, look at this. But I feel like I'm getting better at turning it into funny cringe than just like, I can't watch this. But
I mean, getting comfortable with it is important.
Yeah. But if that's holding you back, man, I can understand that, because editing takes quite a bit of time. I've basically dedicated streaming time to editing time now. Yeah,
and also the problem of like, it's one thing to say, yeah, go get an editor, but paying my bills.
I was gonna say it ain't cheap. Yeah, no,
there's a whole nother problem. But if there wasn't the money problem, then yes, I'd be making videos right and left.
Yeah, I feel that. But yeah,
that's the whole. But I do feel like that's the way that you become the content creator that you want to be, is something that you need to actively create content for.
Yeah.
And if you produce something out there that people can continually watch and you can grow an audience off of Twitch for it, then people are going to come to your Twitch to see that content.
Yeah.
And see you do that stuff. As opposed to if you're on Twitch, they're already there for somebody else in that category, and they found that person through their content, and it's a numbers game at that point. They're going to go to the person with the most things, and you getting noticed on Twitch is going to come down to a whole different ball game of things. And a lot of that, is you're slowly searching through your audience to try and see what connects where and where you can kind of build off from other things. So you end up probably in categories that you don't want. So if I ever want to do Genshin stuff, I'm pretty sure I'd have to make YouTube videos that were entertaining and would bring people there for that. But as it stands, I'm a niche art person with a decent VR chat group around me. So it's kind of one of those things where it's advantageous for me to keep going there. Luckily, I love both of them. I'm in VR chat regardless of whether or not that we're actually streaming it. As proof, over the past couple of days, a lot of people have also just been hanging out with me there in general. And so it's kind of a great building place for me. I enjoy it. I like it. Also, it's basically variety without being variety. You're one category where you can stay, but hey, I sat and played horror games all one day, and that was actually a lot of fun. So it allows me to be very versatile with what type of thing I'm doing. Also, just getting to chat and hang out with people versus other categories where if you switch a game, you might not ever find anybody in that category.
Yeah, I also feel like what you're saying where you just enjoy it in general, that's huge. Mm-hmm. Like finding a category or something that you enjoy enough that even off stream or even when you're not like basically playing whatever said game it is, it's still something you can do with your community. And I do think VR chat has a one up on a bunch of communities in that way, where it's easy for you to all go hang out because that's already what you're doing, sort of like where if you were really good at Call of Duty, you could only bring in 3 other people to come play games with you. Maybe you set up a way to rotate them out or whatever it might be, but it's not the same as like, oh, let's open up a room and all hang out in the room basically, or whatever it might be. Because I mean, there's limits to it, of course, because VR chat has limits to the amount of people that can be in a single room, but it's much higher than most other games. Yeah.
Also, VR chat, it's really weird too, because it's counterintuitive to growing your audience in some regards, because it's one of those things where like, if I have 10 people in a chat hanging out with me, that's 10 people that aren't or 10 people in VR chat hanging out with me, that's 10 people that aren't watching my stream.
Yeah,
but
potentially.
Then again, they probably wouldn't watch my stream in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's your audience and your people you're hanging out with. It's a weird oddity to try and pull people away from your chat to do something.
Yeah. I mean, I
It's
could
like
see
a lot of
that.
people
I
who
kind of
played
see.
Among Us. I saw this with Among Us streamers where people would like open up a lobby on their Twitch and they'd be like, "Hey guys, I'm inviting people from the community in," and you would see like their numbers spike for a second, and as soon as the lobby filled, their whole channel would just empty out.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense because you have the people who are joining you, and then the people who
Mm-hmm.
didn't get into your lobby and saw that they were having open games are gonna go find a different
Other
lobby,
open games.
yeah, or other open games, yeah.
So yeah, those type of games just feel weird to grow in, but they do work if you're there long enough and you're doing stuff with it. I've got a lot of luck in the VR chat department, which I didn't expect. So I don't
Nice.
understand or
Well, I kind of
that's a
do
whole nother thing.
because I feel like I don't know. You have a very good energy for VR chat because VR chat in general is a place to come hang out, relax, kind of, and that's I feel like the type of energy and vibe you give off while streaming. Because even for like art streams and stuff like that, they're usually relax, chill, like not necessarily something that's super high energy. So I think that it really plays well to your personality and your strengths, basically as a entertainer.
Still feels weird.
Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah. I feel like it's for me. It's always weird when you're growing in like. It's always weird when people are donating to you or like supporting you, and you're like, "Why me?" I get that a lot personally. I'm like, I'm not good enough for your love. Like, I don't know. It's really self-deprecating, but it's
Well, oh no, I get that too, and especially because it's one of those things where it's like I want to offer people something for when they give me money.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's like you could have just paid for an emote drawing from me or something like that. Like you add that to your Discord channel, or eventually, like I want to get stickers or something like that out there where people can buy those if they want to support me and still get something out of it in return. I don't know what the heck I want to do for any of those things, but it's one of those things where I feel like if I have something to offer people,
yeah.
then it's like, yeah, you got something out of it, and I got something out of it too, and that's really awesome. We both get to, kind of have that like thing between us. But when somebody just gives me something, and I'm like, that's feels weird.
Yeah. Definitely the out of nowheres is always like, I don't know if I deserve this. Thank you. Like I don't know what else to say. I'm always like blown away to think that they thought enough about my stream or like my content enough to want to support me directly. Like I don't know. I've had some times in the past where like it would pop off and it would be I like don't know how to react. I like don't know what to do because to me my content isn't good enough to warrant that. Like I can't see myself, which is something I want to fix in the future. Like I want to be able to like myself and be more narcissistic about this and be like, "Hey, I'm the greatest streamer." Like and it is one of those things.
No, you mean like me? Yes.
Yeah, yes, quite. Which is one thing that I know a lot of people do is like do characters basically like the person they're playing on stream is either more narcissistic or is more energetic or is basically more of a person that they think people would like than what they truly are. And
that sounds tiring.
it's let alone does it sound tiring, but for me it just I guess basically it's one of those things where I don't know if I could just do that all the time. I would rather be up front with maybe a little bit of that like turned on every once in a while where like maybe I'm more hyper into it, maybe I drink a ton of coffee before I went on. But I don't want that to be the always thing that you expect is 1,000% of this crazy dude. But I feel like those are the people who make money and are the people who I potentially could see donating to. I'm trying to even look back and seeing who I have like out of the blue donated to or like been a part of basically financially supporting. And the only two people that come to mind are Man vs. Game and Lyric for me. And it's just because I don't know, there was something about just Man vs. Game for me was just something about like his whole idea of what he did, because he took the whole, okay, what if I quit my day job and I turned my streaming career into a thing? And basically I just play video games and it's just me playing different video games and beating them and struggling and chat liking that. And he was one of the pioneers that started this whole thing, so I wanted to see that happen. Because in the back of my mind, I was always like, damn, dude, okay, if streaming blows up and becomes popular, like, maybe I could do that. And then as far as lyric goes, he's just hilarious. Like, it was just content that I would wake up to, watch, and just find funny. It was good. He was basically making hilarious content, which I think helps as far as making me want to support someone. Like, I like comedy. I love that type of stuff, so you make me laugh enough, yeah, sure. I think you deserve a sub. You deserve at least a sub. But
are those the only two people that you sub to that aren't like people you know?
Yeah. Well, other than one other person would be Years, who is one of the first artists I ever met on Twitch that I enjoyed, and I've been following him for a really long time. But yeah, those are the only three that I can think of, other than friends. That I support as far as financially supporting them. I mean, of course I can support people by being there, or I definitely think social media support is a pretty big one. Like liking people's posts, retweeting people's posts. Like, it's very little you can do, but it's something that can help them grow more than on Twitch.
Legitimately, the other day I almost thought to myself, like, I should just post something in my Discord where I just literally ask everybody, go like my post on like Instagram, like, because if I had that happen, that would like quadruple my average amount of people who like my stuff on that platform. And it's like, that would be one way to actually grow, but it's also, it's like, as much as I really want to ask people to do that, I don't want to directly ask people to do that.
Yeah, it's weird because it almost feels like exploitation of your community, where it's like, hey, I know you're all here gathering around me. Please, for the love of God, do this thing. I need you to do this thing. Of course, it would help me, and like, a lot of people want to help, but at the same time, I don't expect everyone on my Discord to have Twitter to even want to go use Twitter, so...
Oh yeah, well, Twitter's a whole extra level.
Sure, Instagram in your case, but like, even still, like, go into
any of those things. Yeah, it is amazing how much those things do help your content, and so it's one of those things where it's like, it's really awesome, and I really do love when somebody subscribes to me or something like that. That feels really, really great. But it's also at the same time, it's like, I want money, sure. I'm not going to argue, but maybe instead of giving me $5, go possibly like all my stuff.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter, like.
Yeah, just go do that. Maybe.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, drop some likes on my Instagram, please. If you're doing TikTok, please like my TikToks.
Yeah, it's like those things do help more in a weird way, because it's like, it's not going to help you immediately, but it'll help you further.
It reminds me a lot of like YouTube content, where it's something that's there permanently. Like, I mean, sure, maybe it won't show up on someone's feed after so many hours or whatever for social media, but it's still one of those things where it'll be around a lot longer than your live stream, unless you're streaming for extreme amounts of time. But yeah, I definitely think growing on social media, or even making content that is bite-sizable for you to post on social media is a better way to grow. And it's advice that I need to take myself, because it's kind of hard. It's just basically time-oriented. Like, I need to take time out of my day to sit down, to make some tweets, maybe make a TikTok, post something to Instagram. And it would it can't take me more than it would take to record a YouTube video, edit a YouTube video, get that up, or even probably stream. I mean, because I look at YouTube content right now as, especially for my main channel, it's basically, it takes me about the same time as it would take for a 4-hour stream. So I could be live for 4 hours, or I could make a YouTube video, and the YouTube video will be up forever. I mean, not to say that there aren't VODs, but I don't know. I don't know many people on Twitch that go watch past VODs unless they're like one of your fans and they really wanted to see something that you were doing. It's not necessarily like YouTube, where people are going to watch YouTube videos to like consume that content, basically. But
so This is one thing that weirded me out, that I thought was really, really strange, because I was looking at analytics for everything, and I was looking at stuff for other people on my channel, and just comparing and contrasting people that are around my same size. And I found it really, really weird that I have people watching my VODs more than they watch me on Twitch.
Well, okay, so your VOD, right? The number that you see there is actually inflated.
No, I know from the watch time thingies, but if you look through enough analytics stuff, like I was able to find, like, there's a lot of people who actually go back and watch my videos, and I don't know who that is.
No, it does happen.
Like, one friend that just puts it on repeat. I don't know what's going on with that.
It is possible. I will say, before they put the current viewers who come through into your view count for VODs, I would go back, and I would be so surprised. I think the most I ever had on a video before that was like 30 to 50 views or something. And I'm like, why? Why does it? And it was just one, too. It's always weird. Clips are another weird thing where I need to get better at making those, because I feel like taking clips and actually putting them out into the ether that's not on Twitch, that's another big one. And I don't really have a lot of people. I'm still growing. So it's like, I don't have a lot of people that are there to make clips. And I also, not gonna lie, I hate when in your clip you ask for a clip. I don't know why that bothers me, I need to get over it. I totally need to get over it. But I always hate when it's like, yeah, dude, somebody clip that. And I'm like, oh man, I get you. Like, you felt the same way I feel all the time.
I think what it is it reminds me of that cringiness where you were watching a YouTube video and they're all like, I'm gonna post this to YouTube, and they're
sure.
Feels like that kind of like, you didn't need to say that in your video, dude. But okay.
Yeah, it's like it
feels like the same thing with. But I need to do that too. So I haven't been clipping my stuff. But the one time that I did get somebody else who clipped my stream for VR chat, that ended up getting featured in people who asked me to like sign waivers to let them post it in their videos to put that on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'm going to sign that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Use it. Run with it. And it was very weird to have that, like, that come towards me just because somebody clipped one of my things. And it's like, that's a valuable thing that I should try to do, but that's a lot of...
Yeah, I've had people ask, like, especially when I was doing like PUBG and other things like that, they would ask to basically, can I use your clip in my compilation of Twitch streamer clips, basically? And I don't know. It's always strange when someone approaches you to take your content and be like, can I put it in this thing? That I don't know. At the time, I didn't know how big they are or anything like that. I never went to go watch the YouTube video, not gonna lie. But yeah, it's one of those strange things where just having that as more ready content to put out there, or even for other people to use. Yeah, I need to get better at it. I need to set up a thing on my Stream Deck that either lets me clip, because I know you can do that, or puts a marker in your VOD, because you can also do that.
I would say do the marker thing, because if you try to clip it and you don't do it immediately, it will corrupt the attempt to clip it, so that it won't actually work.
Yeah,
so
I've also
clip within a time frame.
I've also heard that like sometimes it doesn't work as well as you would hope it would, or basically doesn't work at all, or so.
Oh yeah, the auto clipping is even worse, because then you don't know what time span it's going to clip back to.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know exactly how it's going to clip it. So it's almost better to put a marker and then go in with your just yourself and clip.
No, what I'm trying to do is anybody who does clip my stuff, I just VIP them and be like,
oh, that's smart.
You know,
that's not a bad use of VIP, actually.
Yeah, that's where I've put my VIPs at so far. So if somebody clips something, they get VIP for the next week or so.
Yeah, mine's just a redeemable reward that slowly I hope people are working towards.
A good one as well too.
Yeah,
get people to grind towards stuff.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that person to redeem the $1 million point merch, where they just get free merch for 1 million channel points. Someone will get there. All right,
really nice.
I like that. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's just
a lot of watching.
Oh, it's a shit. I mean, they 100% deserve free merch. I've thought about bringing it down, because it's like, I don't know how long or how many hours you have to watch to accumulate 1 million hours or 1 million channel points. But man, it's a lot. You're clicking a lot of chests. You're probably a subscriber. so you get that extra sweet bonus.
You're subscribed, you're clicking, and then
you're not.
The easiest way to do it is to win a whole bunch of gambles if you start.
Yeah, I need to start doing that as well. Yeah. And then, like, let alone, because, yeah, you introduced me to, like, predicts and stuff, and I've really, really liked that. But,
it's called prediction. I call it gambling.
I also need to, like, up my hydrates so I don't have people like Jay come in here and try to, like, murder me with just straight hydrations.
Hey, come on. I've gotten people to come over to your channel just to
Dude, you literally have it. I'm totally fine with it. That's why I haven't moved it. But at the same time, it's always, like, it's now becoming a thing. It's like, fuck. My community one day will kill me. One day they're going to waterboard me to death. All right, it's gonna be upsetting when that happens, but it's okay. It's fine.
It backfired on me.
I know.
Somebody from your stream come over to me and hydrate me, and I was like, "You jerk."
Yeah, I need to just put it at what yours is, so it feels more comparable.
Oh yeah, no, it took them a long time to get to the point where they could hydrate me. I was like, "You've been lurking for a good minute in order to do this."
Because 500 points, is pretty low. I always thought, for me, like, because a lot of people would like have hydrate bots or things like that to remind them to drink water. So having it at a low number just makes it easy for chat to be like, oh, what's something I can redeem? Oh, it's 500 points to tell them to drink water. I'm like, thank you, chat. Because I forget, like, I get completely caught up in streaming, and remembering to drink water is, I don't know, not the forefront of my brain a lot of the time.
No, so. I put mine at 2K, and people still hydrate me. Like it's
dude, yours is 2K. I thought yours was 1K. The fuck?
No, it's 2K. It's 2K. Like,
what the?
You're not gonna get me on that.
You can get 4. You can hydrate me 4 times for the price of 1 for Jay. No wonder they come to my stream to kill me. This is so fucked.
That's why we started the movement.
Oh, I love this. It's so good. It's such. I love stuff like that though.
Bear.
You're turning me into water bear. I know I should just make that my new. I wonder if that's taken, but no, it probably is. But there's no way it's not. That's a weird thing too, like that I was looking into for a while, because I have TV at the end of my name. If you guys haven't noticed, which I hate. I don't. It's not like my happiest moment in my Twitch career is deciding upon that. I almost wish that I had come up with something that just was more original, I guess, or just wasn't taken is a better way to put it, I guess. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's as frowned upon as it once was. Nowadays, I don't think it actually even matters if you have numbers or like TV or TTV or whatever you want at the end of your name. It more, I feel like, was an issue when Twitch was first starting, but I've learned now, if you're making content that people enjoy, you could have whatever name you want. Like, as long as it's not like racist or terrible or whatever, like TOS inducing. But yeah, you could basically be whatever you want. Like, one of my favorite streamers for Dead by Daylight, she's Meows with 5 E's. And it's like, she does really, really good too. And it's like, yeah, how would you organically find that? Like, you're telling a friend, you're like, hey, could you go follow this Twitch streamer? Yeah, sure. What's their name? Meows. Okay, cool. No, 1 second. You need to put 5 E's in there. I mean, it's not that hard. It's not as hard as like my old name, which was Savage Bear, but Savage spelt in Leet, that was like a low moment in my life, but it's okay.
But it's such a low amount of that's how traffic gets pushed through.
Oh, anyways. It is. Yeah.
So I feel like it's such a negligible thing. And so, yeah, people...
Hell,
what's more important is that your name is rememberable in some fashion. And
yeah.
So, like, if it's Meows with 5 E's, they're not gonna know how many E's, but it's gonna irk them in a way that they'll remember it versus somebody that's just Meows. It's like,
I think so as well.
It's better to have something that stimulates that part of them. So
yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, I personally, I think they have a great name. And I definitely, as I said, we even were talking about this, not on the podcast or anything, but how many people click through stuff? Like, how do people find things? Like, in the description of this, it's going to have a link to our Discord. How many of you guys who watch this are going to go down there and click that link to join the Discord? Maybe 1, maybe 2 people. Like, it's like, how many of you have gone over to check out our Twitch channels or anything like that? How many people actually go through and do that? And then it fell upon us. We're like, how many times have we done that? Like, how many times have I myself used that as a thing? I know, which is why I'm like, I don't care if you do, you guys. Like, I personally, it's like...
That wasn't what he was getting at.
Yeah, I guess, exactly. I'm more getting at, I don't either. Like, it's weird. I can't remember.
I think how it works.
I think I did it not that long ago for some YouTube video. I know the last person I probably did it 100% was Pay Money Wubby, just because he has that content that was just funny that I really enjoyed, and I was like, you know what, I want to catch your live streams. He also does something during his YouTube videos that I think is really smart, which he always says, I'm live right now on Twitch, and then shows like, this is what you're missing. So he then like takes a highlight from his stream, and he's not always live. So literally you could go over to he's lying in his YouTube video to you that he's live right now on Twitch. Okay. But still, like, it's good. It's fucking, I've like wanted to take that for my own content, but
I think it's a good idea, honestly.
Yeah.
That's not the first person I've heard of that does that. And it actually works pretty great, but
yeah.
Why it's in the content is the best way to do it, because it's like when I'm streaming, like I have a pretty good active community on my Discord. Like I like how many people are constantly posting in there. I don't have a dead Discord, which it feels great. So I'm constantly interacting with people in there, and it's one of those things where I do push that a lot on my Twitch account. So while I'm talking about it and doing stuff like that, a lot of people will straight up like ask me, "Oh, that's awesome! Let me join. Let me come into the into the Discord." And it's like, they'll ask me for a link or something like that. And I'm like, exclamation point Discord will bring it up. It's underneath me directly. It's in my bio, and it's off to the amount of ways that they could find this thing. It's like nobody's going to click on a dang link.
No, it's so true though.
Not how people go for
it's stuff. So okay. One of my favorites to like bring this up. Yeah, like I have stuff below me or things like that where you guys can come like check out. And very rarely do I feel like anyone read any of those things or click on any of those things, especially nowadays. But like, yeah, it always for me always has bothered me 100% when people come into stream and they're like, "Hey, what game are you playing?" And you're like, all right, first of all, it's directly you clicked on me. All right, you clicked on it. Said it when you clicked on me. It 100%. I have to know it's there. Okay, it's in the title. Yeah. A lot of the time, I will put the game I'm playing in the title. Let alone that, sure. Like I don't know. It's just like I'll tell you.
I've come to learn that it doesn't matter.
I don't care. Like,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
If
yeah.
somebody wants a link, one of my mods or me has to go post it in the comment. Like it's not gonna, nobody, even though we all should know where it's at. And I think it's one of those things where when you're a content creator, you know where it's at.
Yeah.
You can put it there.
Yeah, it makes sense because we're the ones that do this on a daily basis or whatever basis. But yeah. So
I'm able to read and like I use Twitch differently than I'm pretty sure a regular viewer does. That's just how it is, because we ourselves put stuff in there. So we're more vigilant of those things, and we would never ask those questions or go for those things. We're just going to assume that it's there and go for it. And if it's not there, I assume that they don't have it, versus everybody else who they're just not going to look.
Yeah. Is it weird too? Okay, do you do this where anytime anyone ever joins who's like a viewer, things like that, do you also believe they're a Twitch streamer? Because for me, I feel like everyone who ever comes into my stream ever is a Twitch streamer, like immediately. Like the more Twitch streamers there are, like there are more Twitch streamers than viewers, which I know isn't the case, but it just feels that way.
Right.
It feels like everyone streams nowadays to the point where, yeah, it's like, how do you not know it's exclamation point Discord when you're a streamer yourself and you use like the exact same command as everybody else? And then you take a step back and you're like, oh, they just probably use Twitch to view content on Twitch. And
so that's a very statement. So when I'm streaming art, I assume about 80% of my channel is other streamers, which is true. When I'm streaming art, it's a bunch of creators coming in, and a lot of them are looking at my stuff, and they're like basically they're shopping in the art category for somebody to do emotes, and like that's kind of where I've gained a lot of my people, and everybody from my art are all streamers or people who want to become streamers, and they're picking it up and that's how that area grows. And yeah, pretty much that they're all I know for fact that they are streamers. But when I'm in VR chat, since I know that ratio, it immediately just switches immediately when I switch over to VR chat, and it's like 20%, and those 20% are people that I already probably know, and all those people that are coming into VR chat to watch me are all just people watching stuff.
Yeah, which I think, I don't know, it's interesting to think about, because Yeah, it explains why people are like, "Oh, what game are you playing?" or "How can I find your Discord?" or all of this stuff, and yet it's all readily available for them, but they're on their app. They're on their phone app, they're watching you, or they're on their desktop, or and because I feel like a lot of desktop users probably do see it, and that's probably less of a thing. But as far as mobile goes, which my personal guess is the majority of people viewing content are either using a mobile app or are casting it to something. Because
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that you can check
yeah,
in your analytics.
in your analytics, yeah. Weird thing, I haven't checked my analytics in a really long time. I used to be really into them, like almost detrimentally into them. And I kind of stepped back at one point because for me, streaming, of course, I want to make it. I want to make content creation someday, if I possibly can, a career. I would not mind being like able to sustain myself through my content creation alone. But
That's my goal, to head in that direction too.
but
Yeah.
I don't want it to feel like a job, which I don't, which I think kind of harks back to the whole schedule thing. And one of the reasons why I kind of get a little stressed about it is it feels more like I'm turning it into a job again, because I have before. I've gotten to the point where I stopped streaming multiple times. I think it's twice basically. But I basically got to the point where I'm like, I'm not having fun doing this anymore. This just feels like work. And it's work that, especially back when I was started out, wasn't paying me, because there were not a lot of good integrations on getting paid on Twitch. It was mainly donations. And if you were lucky enough to be a partner, then you had subscribers. But that was like, as a lowly growing streamer, like that's years, that's like forever away in your mind.
Yeah.
Whereas, because there was no set goal back then, it was like, how do you become partner? Like, I submit an application when I remember people, like, it would be like, okay, you need at least 100 viewers. Like, that was like the cap when I was starting out. They were like, okay, if you can make it to there, you most likely can apply and become a partner. But then you'd hear people being like, no, I've gotten in at 25, got in at 50, got in, like, it was like all over the place. Because I think back then it was a case by case basis. And I still think it is very similar to like how it is now, even though we have like 75 viewership, you need what, at least like 8 days, so many, or like, what is it, at least so many streams, unique streams per week, basic, or per month, plus so many hours.
Yes.
And even if you hit all of those, they still might not take you. And I think the reason why is Twitch wants to make sure that you are financially stable. They don't want to have someone become a partner basically and then like disappear off the face of the earth because now like they thought they'd become a partner and they'd make all this money all of a sudden, and now they can't, so they can't do what they were once doing. But I don't know, I think Twitch at the end of the day does like want to make sure that you are successful, because they make money off of you, so they want you to be successful. But I do think they want to make sure that you're successful enough before they give you the check mark, especially nowadays. Like, I think it's more than it once was, but
I think it's weird. I think that they want their partners to be successful. I think that is a true statement. I don't think that they want their affiliates to be successful. I think they cannibalize their affiliates.
Well, affiliate, I think, this is going to sound bad, but this is the only thing I can think of. It's almost like breadcrumbs, where it's like, cool, you have your partners that are like eating bread, and they like, you have all these streamers, and they're like, here's some crumbs, basically. Like, we're not going to, of course, make all bread loaves for all of you guys. This is a weird analogy, but it's like,
no, yeah, I get where you're going here.
I just feel like it's almost impossible to. I remember when affiliate was first announced, it was like, holy shit, like I can make that fairly easily. I made it in the first wave, not the ones that directly became affiliates because they had enough, but in the first wave of affiliates once they were like bringing people on. But yeah, it seemed extremely obtainable, and you got emotes, and that was the big thing for me. It was like, you get a subscribe button. I've wanted this forever, and I feel like that was their little thing. Like, you've wanted this forever. Like, here you go. Like, don't worry about it. And I feel like it irked a bunch of partners. Yeah, straight up.
So infuriating.
You only got one emo. Then they gave you 3. I still
you get the tier 2 and tier 3, but nobody does the tier 2.
Okay. Let's go into that for a split second. Why is it that if someone's giving me $25 per month or whatever, why are they not getting more than the person who's giving me $5 a month? Like,
yep.
I don't understand your logic. Like,
honestly, when I became an affiliate, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, this is going to be really cool because I get emotes and I'm an emote artist.
Oh, I remember.
And then got backhanded with the reality of like, I get a emote slot for my.
I remember this.
It killed all of my buzz that I had for it. It was just such a put down. I was like, but I thought I got 5.
Yeah, you saw me with 5 and you're like, hey, I'm going to get all of your emote slots. And I'm like, haha, I got real lucky, truthfully, is what I got. But
yeah, I mean, I've got 2 now and I'm super happy for those ones. Thanks for everybody who subscribed for those ones. But it's also one of those weird things where it's just like, I neglect my emotes right now, and it's a shame.
Oh yeah,
I have the emotes I've done for other people. Everybody's really happy with them, but when it comes to my own channel, I've got basically nothing there.
Weirdly enough, do you have a bunch of people who ever give you biddies, or bits, basically? Because have you checked to make sure that you haven't unlocked bit emotes? Because that was something I didn't know about forever.
Yeah, I have my bit emotes as well. I have just placeholder stuff in there as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because that's where a lot of my extra placeholders go right now, it's sad because they're for me. Because it's like, I don't know how many of you are ever going to reach the amount of money needed to spend to get some of these emotes. But
the first one's not that bad. It's 500.
No, it's 500. Yeah.
The second one is where it gets... starts bumping up and it goes up from there.
Yeah,
but the first one's not bad. Like, that's achievable for a lot of people who just throw little bits at me. But also, I don't see enough people putting custom icons for their bit badges.
Oh yeah, for their bit badges. Yeah, that's not a big one either. Yeah, which is something
I did myself just as like generic ones. They're little potion bottles. I need to switch them to something else.
Yeah, I need to come up with something for that too. Because I mean, I did the subscriber. I think the big one a lot of people do are when we got subscriber tiers. If I could talk, where you got your like 1 month subscriber. Your what? It's 3 months.
Yeah, subscriber badges are. Yeah, I think definitely
6, 9, 12. I think, and then 24. I think there's a 24 one. I can't remember now.
Which are all of my whistles.
All of his whistles.
Wants all my whistles.
If to get back into anime real quick, Made in Abyss over here.
Yeah. I mean, my stream is 90% Made in Abyss themed, and it's one of those great things
which is
where
sweet.
I recently inducted a new member into the Made in Abyss fan club here of stuff, and it's funny because they were telling me about like they really liked my aesthetic of my channel and they thought it all was cohesive and it worked and it was great, but they had no clue what it was. And then when they watched the show, they're like, I just went to your channel and clicked on it for the hell of it because there's all the things that I now understand.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah. I definitely, it's weird because I even want to go more into like figuring out where my branding is. And I do think like some sort of like anime theme is where I'm going to land on, because anime to me is forever. It's just forever in my life. I mean, and I think it's very aesthetically pleasing. Like a lot of people like anime, even people who don't like anime, the thing they don't like about it isn't probably how it looks. Like, I don't know, but I haven't met a lot of people who just straight up hate anime. A lot of people just don't like basically just that genre of like, they would rather go watch a live action movie than they would watch a bunch of like drawn characters move about. Yeah, I don't know.
What are your bit badges right now? Or not your subscriber badge?
My subscriber badges are all paws. Yeah, which I do like. Okay. They're like anime paws. Or like anime bear paws. Because I mean, bear will overarching be my theme no matter what.
Which is a great way to do it.
But yeah, I want to put like, I've been thinking about it recently as far as like redoing a bunch of stuff and kind of having like different styles of anime, like have a different style of anime for my banner, kind of have like Bear Chan and like go that about. Something that I kind of want to do for this channel too, once I force Jay into doing it, is I really want to have like a mascot basically, and I'm leaning towards an octopus. And I don't want to call her Octopus Chan or Octo Chan, but like having some sort of like anime girl mascot octopus character, I think is the way to go, because you got your tentacles in there, adorableness. I don't know how we would go, what direction, but like I'm pretty sure we could figure something out that fits the channel and then is also now our mascot for the character. Like, have you ever seen Admiral Baru?
That sounds very familiar, but I have no idea what that is familiar from.
I don't want to steal his idea because I'm not a big fan of like some people are like flat, or what is it, like imitation is flattery or whatever it might be, and I definitely I'm not the type of person that like, oh, someone's already doing this, I can't do it. But I would rather try to put my own twist on it or try to figure out how my own way to do it.
Yeah.
And one of his things is he has like an anime girl as his mascot, basically. But like she has a bunch of little pandas. So like his pandas are like these cute, adorable pandas, basically. Mm-hmm. But like his main mascot is this anime girl, basically, who I guess I don't know if there's like lore behind any of it or if it's just because he likes anime girls and pandas.
Are you trying to tell me you want me to draw you as a waifu?
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, having a bear waifu, basically, or like wears like a bear onesie or like whatever it might be as branding wise. Might be a way to go, basically, for the future. Okay. Or even chibi form of me instead of like the straight bear with like a bear onesie. But yeah, whatever it might be, I've been thinking about branding a lot. Branding's a weird one for me because I like changing it up. I know a lot of people like, you need to find something and stick with it. And it's like, I do think there should be an overarching theme for your branding and you should stick with something, basically, so people can recognize you. But I do at the same time, I don't want to be forever like, this is my icon I made in 2023 and it's now my icon for the rest of my life, basically. Like, I don't know. That's 2 years in the future.
I like the idea of changing stuff as I want to change it.
Yeah.
That's one of the neat things about me being an artist. I don't have to commission something.
You son of a... No, I know. It is one of those...
It's a whole other separate problem.
I know, because then it's more like just you having to do work for your own channel, where it's like, instead of like having like... you're getting paid to do said work. Yeah, I feel you on that, because it's like me in editing and stuff where it's like, oh man, now I got to do editing and it takes time out of my day when I could be doing other things that are more profitable than doing editing.
Yep.
But, yeah,
it's a whole
it's a whole thing. Well, there's something I did want to talk about today, so I think transitioning to that, I want to do that. So this will be spoilers from here on. I did want to start off, I kind of wanted to make sure that we didn't just jump into spoilers. So that's where all the Twitch stuff comes from. But so spoilers ahead for what? Darling in the Franxx I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Promised Neverland, the newest episode. And I want to talk about Wonder Egg Priority, the newest episode. We'll end off with Wonder Egg Priority as normal. So
yeah, that's our new our discussion of the week is always our Wonder Egg discussions.
I think just to bite the bullet and to jump in, because I've been wanting to talk to you about this ever since I finished watching the new episode of Promised Neverland, and you were basically like, you need to watch this and we need to talk about this. So
yeah, I was pushing for that for quite a bit because I was just like, I need a rant, and my energy for it's almost gone. So please bring me back.
I'll bring you back. What the fuck, you guys? I was not on Jay's side. I want to say this for when we talked about this last podcast episode. I kept trying to like, you know, I'm on the roller coaster ride. It's not too bad. Sure, a bunch of shit's working out, but like this last episode, I had called it. I 100%. I had told my girlfriend, like, yo, Norman's going to be alive. There's no way they're not going to dangle him in front of everybody. I don't know how they're going to use him. How I would use him is having him basically dangled in front of them as kind of like a trap or something like that. Because they never show Norman die. They show him walking into that room. And then I started trying to think about it more. Why? Like, you're the head of the demon world, let's say. Your food that you need so badly that like no one else can have is there for you. And what are you going to do with it? You're going to use it as bait to get potentially 2 other of them back? Like, I guess it's 2 for 1, maybe? Maybe he escaped? If Norman escaped, this is even worse. Did you not send enough demon guards to keep a kid from beating the shit out of all of you and escaping? Like, oh, it's so bad. It's like, it's I think
You're
it's
not even touching on the problems I have with the show yet,
dude,
but keep going.
it's just feels really lazy as far as writing goes. Like, I was like, no, oh no, because I can't think of a way to explain away Norman being alive. I've like been trying for a really long time after watching that episode and talking with people, and it's the one thing for me that now feels like everything's too perfect. Like, I mean,
the whole way up to this point.
It was, but for me, this was like the nail in that coffin where it's like, how is Norman alive? Okay, everything else, sure, too perfect, everything's fine. They're walking down the street in the middle of this fucking demon town and they run into goddamn Norman, and it's like, oh no. Dude, also,
Wait.
yeah, no, what?
Yeah,
Sorry. No, you go ahead. No, because I was going to go into something else.
No, so I just want to quickly frame this episode. Like, if this was episode 1 and we got to start off in the town of the demons, that would have been amazing. I think that could have been cool. They frame a lot of cool things. The moment that we were hanging out with the old demon inside the temple and he's dropping the apples, amazing scenes. There was parts of that where I was like holding on to this, being like, this is where the show is truly going to shine and it can become the thing that I always wanted it to be. But then they go off on this side tangent, showing us 2 characters that end up getting killed later anyways, to show us the fact that there's a necessity for combing and eating the meat, because otherwise they're going to degenerate into weird monsters or whatever and have like this whole other thing, which is such shitty writing. I can't even I can try to explain it, but then yeah, they explain something that doesn't matter with characters that they're going to kill anyways, and bringing us all those ways to the point just to show us Norman, and it could have been amazing.
Yeah,
this episode could have been a defining episode.
Weirdly enough, because this episode has a time skip in it, which felt to me a little like almost forced, because they could have used time skip much more appropriately, much better if they time skipped within the shelter, which is what I thought they were going to do.
Would have made sense, right?
It would have made sense to do it there, basically. And then, I mean, you could have basically shown like, hey, it's been a while since we escaped from the place, and we found this temple, and this is our new home, or whatever. But you could have, like, just to show like, oh, but we've been living here for the past year or however long it's been, and it just felt really weird of a place to throw a time skip in necessarily. I mean, I guess it takes time for them to build the costumes, to have all of that go down, because that part was actually kind of interesting, because you see them. The
narration skip was terrible too, by the way.
Yeah,
because they were talking about like, oh, you heard about those kids that ran away? Yeah, they're probably all dead.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear about those kids? We need kids. We should go hunt them down. They're probably still like the constant back and forth of them talking about them. It just Okay, another thing too. So how they get caught, right, is they get bumped into. Okay? Yeah. They get bumped into, they fall over, and they're like, oh, dude, I smell human. What the hell? How do they not smell like humans until they're bumped into? How come they're walking through this town and not every demon is like, dude, bro, I smell some fucking high quality meat right now? Like, especially since this town is apparently super low.
Yeah, starved.
So we have a quick discussion about.
Oh my god, dude! What the?
This idea that they need the humans to eat,
sure,
to survive.
Yeah,
because this is a problem that This is the funny thing. Like, similar to the problem that I have with Goblin Slayer, is the idea of taking away the moral problem or the moral quandary with something like the demons. Have to do this in order to survive. There isn't a logical reason otherwise to like any of the outcomes or anything around them. They're literally forced to do this. It is not a choice. It is a primal thing for their survival.
Which,
so now, like, what are we to do? Like, this race needs to die simply because they're parasitic upon another one, and it's like, why did you have to throw away the quandary of like there's other reasons where you could have done to why they want to eat humans, a whole slew of them, and you go for the one that deletes any sort of psychology or any sort of philosophy that could have been written for it. Instead, now we just have this pure force of like nature reason for it, which I think ruins the whole plot for me for the demons.
Yeah, I think, okay, so the weird thing about this too, when you really think about it, it like throws off the other characters, those other two demons that they saw, because they didn't bring up anything about needing to eat human meat. If anything, they were like, we don't need to eat human meat to survive. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you're showing these other demons.
They were lying, right? So,
well, sure, they were lying. Yeah, I mean, even then though, like it wasn't something where if they actually did need to like eat those humans to survive, you would think those demons wouldn't be exactly where they were, basically. Because they're basically nomads that are wandering around. Maybe they travel to towns every once in a while and eat human meat in order to not degenerate. But like, it doesn't explain. It literally doesn't explain why he would want there to be. Well, I guess it explains why he would want there to be wild humans. But I don't know. It's so. It definitely makes that more confusing than it needs to be. I think this episode to me made a bunch of like questions I have that'll never really be explained away, like just cannot be explained away in a good fashion, and are just going to turn into kind of like them having to retcon stuff where it's like, oh, Norman's alive. How is it? Like, it feels like there was more writers on this show than there needed to be. Like, there was like two teams that were making two different stories, and all of a sudden they handed it off to the other team, and the other team was like, no, Norman's alive. We already wrote that Norman's alive. And they're like, wait.
That was one of the best parts of the show, was killing him off, because it's
I think so too.
Impossible character to kill.
Yes.
And by killing him, it derails so many things and so many tropes and so many ideas of what you have about the show, and makes it to where you feel like anybody could die. And that's when they opened season 2 of them running from a creature, and it just started being so convenient that nobody was getting injured or dying, and everything was happening as if it was just like railroaded as hell with the biggest plot armor possible. I was like, oh, Norman's alive. Like, the moment that those scenes happened, I was like, okay, he never died.
Yeah.
That's how it is, because
exactly. I basically had the exact same thing, because it was like they never showed him die. Like, if they had shown Norman die, Norman's dead. All right. They haven't shown Norman die. They're most likely using that as a plot point. Like, also,
like, just even if you don't show it, it would have been fine. It's like the Star Wars when Chewie dies but doesn't, and it's just like,
yeah, no, it is very much like that. But the other thing too, so Mom has been locked up, right? Mom's been locked up, and they've been checking on the farm. Do they have someone who just sounds like Mom? Are we gonna find out that's just like a recording that they've been playing because they know that they've all been listening? Because they would know Mom's voice. Because they would, I was so thrown off by that, because I was like, wait a second, clearly it looks like Mom's been locked up for a while. Maybe this just happened. But even then, they would notice immediately when all of a sudden, yeah, dude, it's so weird. Like,
they've never brought it up again since. I'm pretty sure it was a throwaway scene, and they forgot that they had it in there, because there's never referenced again. They don't have the radio or anything to do with it anymore. They didn't take anything with them. Like, I think that was literally just a throwaway scene.
They do have the radio with them.
Did they?
Yeah, they show them coming. They show them coming to the temple, and they're like currently using the radio. I don't know if they're using it as just a generator, because they never.
Because they weren't ever talking about it. Yeah.
No, they don't actually talk. Actually, I think they don't. I don't know. Actually, I don't think they do. After the time skip, I think you're right. But even then, even before the time skip, it shows Mom locked up, and they send mom after him before they leave the other place, and they definitely hear mom checking in, unless it's not mom.
Yeah.
Or they all forgot what mom sounds like. Like, I don't know. It's
Which, mind you, now that we know that she's out there hunting for him, she sucked at doing that for a full year already. Like,
yeah, straight.
Bring them back? Sure, a year later.
Yeah, it's so funny to me too, where it's like, are we gonna or is it gonna turn into this where we find out that mom's like on the kid's side now, basically, and she brought Norman. She basically saved Norman's life and is now trying to get and save all of the kids because she told them, "Oh, you can't catch them, but I can," and then was like, "Oh, this is my chance to escape and get all my kids back and actually play mom and be good mom all of a sudden, and we're all gonna escape to the human world together."
If the next episode is them all revealing each other and she's one of the people in the road,
I thought she was. Yes. I will
straight turn it off and stop watching the show.
I thought this was implied. I thought that was implied by like her walking up next to Norman.
I thought Norman found like a rogue of random humans somewhere else.
No, I think it's
really hoping for that.
I think it's gonna be other kids that they've basically escaped from saving Norman. That's like what I was trying to think of. Like,
nope. I'm clocking out if that's it.
It's so fucking...
That's literally like, I'm already so, like, after episode 5, I hated the show so much that if anything else happens like that, I'm just walking away because the jokes that I was making about the piano and things like that in the episodes before being convenient and like my jokes of like calling stuff so ahead of time, like episode 5 was just the epitome of that and just, it hits you over the head at that point.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. I don't know. This show, I think this show is now like season 1 in itself, just self-contained, is actually, I think, worth watching. Season 2,
no, it's a great show.
Yeah, season 2 has now taken a great show and basically started trying to answer or trying to imply certain things that happened during the first show, basically, and it's kind of ruined the luster that once was a great show. And I didn't want to get on your side for this because I feel like this is where it was going last episode where when we were talking about this, but after this newest episode, and the reason why I wanted to bring it back and talk about it was because I started feeling like, what the fuck, you guys? Like, this is too convenient of writing, and it almost feels at this point like you knew everyone loved Norman in the first season, right? And they were like, we need to bring Norman back, basically. This is what it feels like. It feels like when a producer, the weird thing is I don't read the manga, and if this is in the manga, like, what the hell still? But like, it feels like a producer was like, no, Norman was making tons of sales. We need to sell Norman toys. And they're like, okay, I guess we won't kill Norman off then. Like, I don't know. It's so weird.
It's so bad. So this really makes me want to talk about Wonder Egg right now, but we're going to save it for the end. This will all come back to it.
Sure.
I want to get off the topic because we're not disagreeing. There's no conversation.
There's no conversation anymore. Yeah, I totally agree.
That's more than they did.
So, Darling,
this is a show that takes this concept of railroading and taking stuff so like where it's supposed to be and throws it out the window.
Throws it fucking out the window. Okay. This show, like, I feel like, okay, I don't know how to explain this other than it started to basically Evangelion started to bleed into Darling in the Franxx. And it basically, everything's going fine. It's explaining things fairly well. And then the last few episodes take that turn where it's like, it instantly reminded me of how Evangelion went, where it's like, all of a sudden, what the fuck? And it just feels what the fuck for the sake of being what the fuck. Like, the moment that they head into space, I was like, okay, I'm what's going on here? Some of this feels a little too convenient, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they have the spaceship that can get them into space already. They can use it. He's like, oh, this is the only spaceship that I can actually, like, normally it locks me out or whatever, but this one doesn't. So clearly they left this one for us to use in this exact moment. The stat spaceship's outfitted with stuff to allow the Franxx to then fly in space, even though the Doctor created them and no one really, I guess people know how they work, clearly, because they retrofitted them. Basically, shit's all of a sudden magic shit's going down with 02, like getting random cuts out of nowhere because she put her consciousness into this Franxx that's gigantic that is now cutting it. And it's like, wait a second, okay. And that forces Hero to now all of a sudden be like, oh wait, that's right, you're probably not gonna be okay. I should fly into space to get your consciousness back. They do it. 02 becomes the fucking giant robot, like literally just becomes it. Like,
yeah, that was unnecessary.
That part, yeah, okay, not gonna lie, that part for me, I felt unnecessary as well. Like, I really thought she would.
I enjoyed it though. Out of like, I don't know what part of me enjoyed that.
Well,
I can understand the detractors at that point.
That to me felt like jumping the shark, or that felt to me like basically, what the fuck, you guys? Like, I get that the Franxx are alive. I get that this is a combination of all of them. I get that this is like unprecedented and never really happened on this scale. But to have her turn into it just felt like some writer or someone wanted that to happen so goddamn bad that they made it happen, basically. They didn't need to explain it. They don't, and that's fine. You don't need to explain a lot of stuff, but that literally to me was when I was like, I could see people turning this and being like, I can't watch any more of this show. Like, I don't know if that was the turning point, but even then, the last episode is basically them floating through space and finally everything being okay on Earth, and they're finally working everything out. And then they notice 02, like the little baby girl can talk. She can talk to 02, or like 02 talk to her telepathically to teach her how to say darling. That's not really explained, but they all are like, wait a second. She now knows a word that she didn't by standing next to said statue. We should yell at said statue and give it all of our energy. And luckily that's at a crucial moment, like 3 years in the future, that happens exactly when it's supposed to happen to get Hero to finally listen to them to get him back to 02. Sorry, that's like so fucking funny to me.
No,
it takes
it's one of those things where like the show is on such a great trajectory. It's one of my favorite shows for the first half.
Yes,
I understand that it goes downhill towards the end.
Yes.
It was a collaboration between A1 Studios and Studio Trigger.
Yeah.
And from what I heard a lot about for the production of it is that they were writing the show still as it was airing.
It feels that way.
Which is why the ending gets rushed the way it does.
Yeah, it has Evangelion syndrome. It really does. It like really funny. It's funny to think that another show that is basically sexualized Evangelion becomes Evangelion at the end of it. Like,
well, I mean, Trigger is the same groups of people that came
from Gainax.
Which is So I mean, it literally is.
It does make sense. I'm not gonna say it doesn't. You want to know something really funny to me? When they finally get back to the tree and their spirits go into the tree or whatever, I half expected it to jump forward in the future and have them both standing there holding hands and everyone around clapping and saying congratulations to them, and they were like getting married. They were like, literally, that's like where they were getting married, was at that tree. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys missed an opportunity to do a complete reference to fucking...
Yes.
I was so mad. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you guys could have went that far. Like, you're clearly trying to put this in the same vein right now. So I don't know.
That would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing. Yeah. Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, because they do show them at the end as kids, and I was like, okay, this is a fine way to end it. Like, I get it. Mm-hmm. It's trying to show that souls transcend space time, and they promised each other that this would happen, and now it's happening. But yeah, they could have.
What they would have done is if they would have taken the last 4 episodes and turned that into a full season 2, we would have been talking about one of the best shows ever.
I think I could see that, actually. I think if they had instead like explained a little bit more before they went into space, and then made it feel a little bit less convenient, because yes, I do feel like the last 4 episodes feel very on the nose and like rushed, basically, because they're like, we have to get from point A to point B, and we just have to, basically. Okay, another thing about this series, when the space dudes showed up and like revealed themselves, I actually broke out laughing, because I was like, I can't handle this right now. This went from, who are you guys fighting? You're switching the enemy. I kind of like that. Don't get me wrong, but just have them come from space and be prepped and like all of this go down like that. I was like, this is just, hilarious to me. Like, it was so good. It's a good series, truthfully.
There is, so it is funny. Everybody's like, it just comes out of nowhere, and for the most part, it does. But when you watch the show a second time, you do realize that there's people who have verm pins on their jackets.
Oh, I could see that.
Ape and whatnot all have like things that they say that are contradicting the other people, and there is a bunch of lead up for them to do it. It is just the fact that the way they do it is comical and out of position for the rest of it. And especially for such a covert operation that they've obviously put their way in there. And I think what they really needed to do is when they start fighting the Hive Queen of the Klaxosaurs and whatnot, there should have been a larger breakdown between that conversation about what their purpose is. In fact, that they're not fighting the humans, they're fighting the verm. And that should have been when we get introduced to them and start reading. Like, they should have had like 1 or 2 episodes where they start weeding out like verm infiltrators within the human race and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. Like there's all these rooms for stuff that could have been like interesting if they would have given it more time to open up.
I kind of agree with that.
Like, boom, everything in 4 episodes go.
Exactly. It does feel like all of a sudden, boom, here, all of this shit's going to go down in such a short amount of time. I mean, it's actually a long amount of time, but it is. I do think the ending too, showing them getting old, all of that, I think it's really cool. I do like.
The final episode was sweet.
The final episode was really good. Yeah, I definitely liked the majority of that show as well. Like, the show as a whole, I think does very, very well. It has one of my favorite scenes from any anime in some ways. I really love the scene when they're having the wedding and the wedding gets broken down, basically, because that's super emotional. Like, that's pretty real. You feel terrible for these two characters, and then they introduce them back with their memories gone almost immediately after that. Is like, that is really well written. That's sweet. That's like, shit, I feel terrible as an outside viewer. You feel like the other kids that are left, you're like, why would you do this? Like, you guys, if I explain to you what's going on, maybe you guys will love each other. Clearly, you're still pregnant, which doesn't make sense to me, but that's fine. Because you would
watch a couple of seasons of that in general. Like, honestly, like, if we just had another season of them inside there to really flesh out all the characters, like as much as Hero and 02, like, it would have been, I think, really, really good.
Yeah, I think so as well. The focus is forever on Hero and 02 in this series, and I mean, it makes sense because choosing like 2 people just to focus on, but I agree. I think if they had more fluff in there to explain some of the other characters, explain like more just as a whole, bring things back together, I think would have done very, very well. The show was still good. It definitely, the ending, I now completely understand when people like either choose that they like it or they don't, because it is kind of a yeah, of course, it jumps the shark. It basically does something that all of a sudden you're like, wait, I didn't expect any of this to necessarily go down this quickly, and does feel very convenient as far as writing goes, but it's done well.
I mean, jump the shark is, I think, an understatement.
I think so. I do think so as well. I just don't know what else to say.
It leaves the whole freaking ocean. It lands on the other side as a giant freaking waifu in space, which is, yeah, I don't know,
dude. Okay, I love the scene where it's just all of these verm ships just shooting the shit out, and it's just floating there in space. Like, I don't know what to do with my life. Like, clearly there's other ships that are up there that are trying to defend her, but clearly they're not doing a good enough job. Oh man. Also, when her when her horns become antlers, and just shoot up into the, basically just like grow out of control, and then the other girl's horn grow. I'm like, they can do that? Like, I guess you don't explain a lot in this series, and that's fine, but that's not something I expected to do. We know that she shortens them or sharpens them.
Yeah, we do get the whole thing of like they do grow.
They do grow
not at that like velocity. Yeah, that was a little bit sudden.
Yeah, the last few episodes are very, very sudden, and now it's like, you thought you knew stuff? Well, guess what? We're gonna keep telling you don't know stuff. But yeah, good series.
Good. Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand why there's so many detractors. But
Yeah. I recommend it. I mean, 02 is my waifu. She's a good waifu. The series overall, like overall, following the storybook and things like that, I thought that was really interesting. How
that was such a cute little story arc. Yeah,
it is cute. Yeah. Like their past and everything, I thought was sweet. The majority of the writing for that show is very well as far as character development, as far as making you like the characters. And then it goes, way too ham at the end. That's fine.
There's no character out there that I can be like, this is a 02 proximity that I could really say that like this is somebody I could recommend you to go watch if you really love the show for 02. But if somebody likes a lot of the things that are in this show and wants to see something like it, Eureka 7 is definitely a show that I really highly recommend to everybody.
Okay,
and it ends really, really, really well. Just don't watch the second series.
It's funny how that happened.
There's a spin-off.
That's funny
The
how
spin-off is real bad.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. We actually talked about that. Yeah, we talked
about it.
Yeah.
But watch the original. Watch Eureka 7. It is so good, and I think it's a lot of what people wanted from the show is in that show.
Okay. And then
Totally worth it.
to move us on to Wonder Egg Priority, still good.
Still really good.
Yeah, we had we did a watch party for this, so we're all watching. We were like taking bets on whether or not the new character was a dude or was a girl, and yeah, I went back and forth like 3 times during that new episode. I was 98%.
There's a lot of back and forth.
I was 98% sure that it was a dude after a while, and there was like that 2%, and that 2% ended up winning. But I'm excited to see more about their character. I think this show does really, really well at making me want to actually learn more about each of the main characters right now, and dive more into their backstories and what got them there, and how like their statue, like whoever they're trying to protect, like passed away. Did we ever see the statue for the new girl? I can't remember.
No, Momo is not. We don't see their statue, but we know it's got to deal.
Oh
with
no, we do see their statue.
Really?
It's in the railroads.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the railroad. So yeah,
because that's where all the fights are taking place and whatnot. So that makes sense. And then we get a very different feel for how that they deal stuff. So this episode actually solves the biggest problem that I had with the show. My biggest problem with the show was in episode 1, the conveniency of the way that the egg is teaching the audience, how everything's going. And that's how I felt that it was. And I thought that is very descriptive. And then the egg 2 is a counterpoint to it, and felt like they were trying to then move I through the story as like a narrative plot for it.
Okay.
And then we get to episode 3 where we get the girls. Is it episode 3? Yeah, episode 3 is where we get the girls that are a part of the band and whatnot, and the girl with the razor blades. But that actually matches her stuff a little bit. But I didn't think about that much until we get to this episode where we get Momo is dealing with all these girls that have sexual assault stuff, that also has these emotional attachments to Momo really quickly, and having all of these like, there's all these little connections to them to where they feel like they're playing off of this person's identity a lot, and it feels like their reason for the way that they dress and whatnot is all these different things. So it made me go back and look at them. The 2 girls that are doing stuff with the idol stuff, matches up with that girl. And if you really think about it, the personalities of the 2 eggs that Franxx match up with her situation and with the person that her friend killing herself. Both in very different ways. The second girl, it's because she's looking, has that like teacher relationship that was heavily toxic and brought her to her death. And the first girl, with the way that her friend interacts with her, and it's like it took away the idea that I thought those things were all convenient storytelling mechanisms that were just there as a way to get us from into the story and tell us what's going on. And now I'm starting to really think that no, that's me trying to make sense of the story in a logical writer's way of doing things.
Yeah.
And how I usually break things down. And no, I think every egg that they're going to crack is going to be dealing with their type of trauma and trying to help them cope with the reasons why the person went through what they did, and eventually be a learning thing as to helping the person that themselves grow.
I could see it going that direction. I don't know if it is just because it's been convenient for them to show that for each time, because we're only 4 episodes in right now.
This is huge speculation on my part.
But I definitely, it's funny because after you point that out, it does make a lot of sense that they would go that direction, because it then matches up with the character's personality better. You get to learn a little bit about how the main character is, that like how each of the main characters are, basically, by learning it through the other person who they're trying to protect. And I think it's an interesting way to use storytelling, as far as, like, especially for Momo, how you learn fairly quickly about, like, I don't know, even the little bits that we've seen from her do feel like it's going in that direction, basically, where it's going, the reason why she dresses in male clothes and the reason why she is upset when people think that she's a male, basically, I think is going to come into play and show more, like, because of how the victims are, or how the basically the people they're protecting are holding themselves.
Want those interactions in there. That's where I think it's going to go, but
I got an interesting one just for speculation and where this show's going to go. Do you think they're going to ever have one where they all synchronize all 4 of them? And if so, who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be like a main character thing where they all go to Ai's world? But
well, I mean, Ai's already been pulled to the other girl's world, right? So...
Yeah, but I think that made her more passionate about her friend. Like, I think that's going to cause...
help, yes.
I think that's going to cause her to reflect on why she's doing this, and maybe be able to, like, grow more as a person and sync more with the other girl. I can't think of her name. Like, K, it starts with a K.
Yeah, I keep forgetting her name.
Kyoto? As well. No, it's not. But
pink hair stripe.
Yeah, but I do think that they're going to go that direction where they all start working together and start all basically go to fight eggs all together. I wonder how that's all going to go down. They start having big sleepovers, but I love this show.
No, every episode has changed my idea of where the show's going to go.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that by the end of next episode, I will have any closer of an idea of where it's actually going.
Yeah.
So there was still part of me that was thinking, like, we weren't going to see another girl for like a couple of episodes, and it's just like every time we get introduced to somebody. So the next one, we are pretty sure we're not getting anybody else.
I don't think we're getting anyone else. Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, maybe by around that time we'd get our first like egg loss, but now I don't know if that's even a thing that's going to happen anymore.
I think weirdly enough, I don't think it's going to happen next episode. I do potentially see them killing off one of the main characters, basically, because I don't know if you fail at an egg loss if you actually die. Because I mean, we thought second girl dies, or no, third girl dies, pink haired striped girl. It's Kwai. We thought that she died at the end of the third episode because she starts turning into stone. And then she clearly shows up and is like, don't worry. I mean, we regenerate in this world. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it makes me wonder if you fail, that's when something really bad happens. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Failure to save somebody should be interesting, right? So
yeah.
What if they die in that process? So, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be addressed or not at this point anymore.
I do think it'll come up. I mean, as far as writing where this show goes, it feels like a logical place to take it to. But I don't know. This show is just it leaves so much stuff up in the air. And as you were saying, I do feel like every episode is kind of like compounded on top of each other to the point where I didn't really know where we were going to go. Right now, it does feel like they're finally a group of 4, so they're not going to really introduce anyone else. And it does feel like from this point on, maybe they'll start working together more than they were in the past. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We did find out that the second girl, I can't think of her name though, that she's like the president of some company and is absolutely rich. That was like,
yeah, that was
out of nowhere. That was kind of cool though. I was like, wait a second. I love this show.
Yeah, that's an odd introduction. I also then. Yeah, where is that going to go?
Because
this show, in a lot of ways, reminds me of like Madoka Magica, where there's a literal potential to just tell so many different stories in this universe.
Yeah,
like there is so many things that I think by the time that the show is done, I've already thought about like, what if there was this character or that character, and there's so much like room for new things to happen and things for these characters to do, and it's just well, I know it's going to probably end at episode 12, and I'm just going to be left wanting more.
Yeah, but it does make me feel like they could do this show, but the boys' version of this show, because they kind of talk about that in the last episode, where they're like they talk
their statements on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think either, but I think that to me, if they were trying to set up for a second show, or like a spin-off of this show, that's that scene right there where they talk about the differences, basically. I think that's they potentially setting up for that.
Yeah, the thing about they're like girls are emotional and guys are goal-oriented.
Yeah.
Irked me, and I think it's only irked me because I'm familiar with a male who took his life over a very emotional situation.
Yeah, I don't...
And so it's like, it's very discounting to me, and it's like, that hard of a line in there was like I wish they would have just phrased it more of like a on average type of thing. It's like I do understand like in Japan they have a big problem with suicide currently over there. It's per capita one of the largest nations for suicide, and that's a big problem that I know that they need to address. And I think a lot of it is probably taking statistics from that of a lot of males who
probably
and oriented and aren't able to fulfill it, and that's a lot of the reasoning. But whatever it is, I just don't like the idea of just hardline or dismissing one's reasoning for such things.
Yeah, it's a weird way to put it. Yeah, it's definitely a weird way to put it. But yeah, overall, I'm very interested in seeing where this is going. I know we'll most likely have a watch party for the next episode. I think this is just going to become a thing on the Discord. So if you want to come watch it with us, we'll be watching it on Wednesdays. We did 6 p.m. last time, so I think that works out fine still. So 6 p.m. Pacific time. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys would like to come join us, feel free to click on the Discord, come on in, and we'll be watching that.
I'll be just as itchy as it was last time, because I remember just checking that it went live and I was like, I want to watch this so bad.
I know.
I'll wait until it's fine.
I know. Well, you can always watch it first and then rewatch it and just pretend that you haven't watched it. All right.
Oh man, that part. Yeah, no, there's a part of me that almost wants to do that because I've rewatched this show already.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have as well. I feel like this is one of those shows where, I mean, sure, like you would come in and you'd be watching it and just watching our expressions basically and being like, oh shit, okay, what are they gonna think of this? But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, dude, the second time I rewatched the show was literally to try to answer the question about the relationship between Ai's mother and the teacher.
Yeah,
and the relationship with her and the other girl, and it's like, I'm no closer to answering all of those questions.
Yeah, we're pretty sure the teacher and her mom are a thing. I'm pretty sure.
No, they're 100% a thing. Like,
okay,
4 times, I can guarantee that part. I just can't guarantee what it is that I runs away from the situation when she's seeing the teacher talking to her friend that ultimately commits suicide. Is there a relationship that was occurring there that was inappropriate? If also, how much guilt does I have because she ran away from that situation? When you see your friend crying in front of a teacher like that, your response to just run away is not, because at that point you should be thinking, oh, you should want to cry to one of your friends, not to a teacher that you don't know unless there's a reason. are you crying because something else happened, or are you crying because something between you and the teacher happened? What issues are going on and all these other things? Because we know she was getting abused by other children, but it's one of these things where it's like there's a lot of ambiguity between that whole situation, and until that gets resolved, I think it's also just a part of me because I'm projecting a little bit here between a lot of unfortunate circumstances I've seen throughout my life where those type of relationships are usually not trustworthy and things that I am repulsed by.
I think they're going that direction. It definitely feels like they're going that direction.
Yes.
And I think personally from what I've seen after rewatching it as many times as I have, which is like I think 3 now. But it's one of those things where I think that's where she feels like she betrayed her friend, and that may be the instance where she got pushed over the edge at this point to then take her life. We'll have to wait and see once all of that, like the dust settles and they actually explain it to us. But I really want them to
they're gonna have to explain that to us.
Yeah, I mean they've kind of explained like what the third girl Urquai's like her character and what happened there, and they haven't really explained anyone else's, so it does make me feel like they will explain everybody's at some point, and I really hope they do, because we just know that second girl failed to save her sister, and we don't really know anything about Momo, but I need to remember her name. The second girl's name, I can't remember her name. Everyone else's name I remember,
but we are most likely, because there's no other information on the series that I can find about any runtimes or anything like that. So we're most likely, though, if I had to honestly guess, we are probably 1/3 of the way through the entire series.
Yes.
So there's going to be a lot that needs to be divulged in the next couple of episodes, but we're also going to need to get a dynamic set for the characters as well of how they're going to operate, plus the build up, the crescendo, and then the ending, and like the decompress, or if there even is one. I was talking to one person already who was like, maybe the series is going to end with I dying, and I was like, that would be weird and mind-blowing. I don't know how. And they went through this whole scenario that I was like, believable by the end. I don't know how to correctly say it myself, but it's one of those things where like there's so many possibilities where this show could go, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So if you guys want to join us for the ride, go check it out. I think this is our most recommended anime at this point from the new season. So
yeah, this is my easy pick for the season for sure.
Yeah, me too.
And I know other people are there's a lot of other good things out there right now. Skate the Infinite.
Attack on Titan.
Which people are super big into,
yeah,
and a few other shows, but this is we've talked about it every week for a reason.
Yeah,
and
one day people we'll push this up. All right, people will be like, hey, that show that Otaku flavored, so that we should go watch. Let's go,
because we sure in the hell aren't going to be talking about
what Promised Neverland. Okay, yeah, if we don't talk about it next episode, you guys know that Jay just quit.
Yeah.
But you guys, thanks for coming in.
Dude.
Thanks for hanging us as we rant about, everything that we rant about. But we'll see you guys next time.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.